Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about rich versus poor thinking. So, what do I mean when I say rich versus poor thinking? Well, just because you have rich thinking doesn't mean you've got money. And just because you have poor thinking doesn't mean you haven't got money. Anybody can think either way. Right, so rich thinkers, they have hope. And poor thinkers, they have hopelessness. So I guess what I'm talking about is hope versus hopelessness. Rich thinking, they have hopes, they have dreams, they have values and they have goals. They have ambition and drive. They believe in themselves. They never give up or let a problem hold them down for long. They're dedicated and they're passionate. I've heard them being called dreamers and believers. Then we have the poor thinkers. Like I said, just because you don't have money or you live in poverty, it doesn't mean you have to have poor thinking. So, poor thinking, it's hopelessness because they've got no dreams or ambitions, no goals and no drive. They have nothing to believe in, as they don't even believe in themselves. They believe they're average, less than average. They have different values to us. They're just trying to meet their basic human needs. So, there could be other things involved also. Mental health issues, drugs and alcohol, crime, abuse. They learn to lie and manipulate, cheat and steal because they need drugs and alcohol. Sometimes it's for self-medication because that's all they know, or it just makes them feel like getting up the next day. What would I say? They believe that nobody is going to give them a chance because they're not worth it. And these things, these lying, the manipulation, the crime, the drugs, the abuse, just becomes normal. I know from personal experience, it is quite horrific what can become normal. So now, a bit about me. I was born on March the 23rd, 1975, to loving working class parents. I, like everyone else, was born with my own temperament and my own personality. I was born a deep, emotional, empathetic thinker whose favourite word is why. I was loving, kind, clever and mischievous, and I had my whole life in front of me. As I grew up, my parents started the local Pentecostal church. Money was hard because they were buying a new house and my mum had given up work to bring us up, me and 3 years later my sister. But that's what they did back then. It was a different time. You gave up work because that was the responsible thing to do. I'd say we were a make, do and mend family. I remember many occasions when my shoes all of a sudden started doing the flap, yeah, and down my nan's we'd go, out will come the glue, and we'd put it on the dining room table leg on it to make it stick. But that was, that was okay because that's how we managed. We managed to have holidays and, days out. So we weren't poor, but we weren't rich either. But my parents did teach us right from wrong. They brought us up to have dreams and ambitions. They brought us up with the rich thinking. So I had ambitions, I had dreams. I knew I wanted to work with children. As you would say, or they used to say back then, I was brought up, not dragged up. I'd say that I had quite a strict upbringing, but that's because my parents were trying to teach me right from wrong, that there were rules in life, but I didn't understand that. So, as I got older, I learnt, that you have to be kind to people, you have to be non-judgmental, and you be caring and you forgive people. These are the things that church was telling us, the things my parents taught me, to be kind and forgiving and non-judgmental. But hang on a minute, why then were the people around me who were supposed to be so non-judgmental calling the people on the Crescent the worst street in the whole town? Honest to goodness, they made it sound like it was the gates from hell. They were wasters, they were druggies, they were no-hopers. But then I turned 14. I met these boys at the shop. We really liked them, me and my friend. They'd come and meet us at the shop and they'd buy us things and treat us like girlfriends. So they'd come meet us at the shop and then we'd meet them a bit further down the road. And then we found out they were from the Crescent. Well, not actually the Crescent, but family connections, and that's where we hung around. So we were called Crescent Kids. Because we decided that if these boys weren't that bad, then surely the Crescent couldn't be that bad either. Surely it wasn't as bad as they said. Like the gate to hell. So, at 14 years old, I started my double life. I went to the Crescent, expecting the gates of hell. But what did I find? I found acceptance. Because these people might not have had hope, but they did have non-judgmental, because they all had issues of their own. They were all trying to meet their basic needs, the needs for food. They didn't want to have to make a choice. Did they need electric or food more? Because these are the sorts of people that live down there. And I found community there. And by golly, we were a nuisance. We used to get so drunk and make so much noise. But every year, they didn't have much. They'd go on a coach trip to the beach. And you know what? Even though we were a nuisance and we used to cause them so much trouble, they still invited us because we were part of their community and they accepted us without judgment. And from the age of 14 to the age of 20, these were my family. They were more than friends. And do you know what? At the age of 20, I married one of them. And for a while, I actually became one of them. How did I become one of them? I had hope. I had dreams. I wanted to work with children. I'd been to college. The day I left college, I got a job to be a nanny. But when I was 20 and I got married, I decided that this really wasn't very good for me to be living in someone else's house Monday to Friday when I've got a husband. It was time for me to settle down, to do what my mum had done, to bring children into the world. And so, at 20 years old, I started my new phase as a wife. And at age 20, I married one of these, as you'd call it, no-hopers, druggies. And then I became one, because you become what you surround yourself with and what you believe you are. My friends were the sort of friends that Ed Sheeran talks about in his song Castle on the Hill. These words especially make me smile and wish that I was back there, when all there was to worry about was if my mum was going to find out I was drunk. I'm going to read this bit. 15 years old and smoking hand-rolled cigarettes, running from the law through the backfields and getting drunk with my friends. Had my first kiss on Friday night. I don't reckon I did it right, but I was younger then. Take me back to when we found weekend jobs. When we got paid, we'd buy cheap spirits and drink them straight. Me and my friends, not thrown up in so long. Oh, how we have grown. So, why do I think there's a difference between rich and poor thinking? My friends, they were perfect examples of the things they were called. Druggies, no-hopers. But were they wasters? No. They were clever. They were caring. They were funny. They were non-judgmental. They just weren't academic. Half of them had been expelled from school. They came from broken homes or had mental health issues at home, abuse, drugs or alcohol issues. We all had our own issues and we covered them up with alcohol and drugs. We had each other in the world. We were family. So, why were they no-hopers? Because they had no dreams, they had no ambition. Because what was the point in dreaming? They had no qualifications, a drug habit and issues. Who was going to give them a job? So they just waited till they could sign on the dole. Do what they knew. So, as I said, I went to college, and the day I finished, I went to a job as a nanny. My dream job, looking after children. We all loved my payday. It was my turn to treat us all. We just pooled all our money because, like I said, we were family. I wouldn't like to think how on earth we managed to get the money to get drunk or smoke every day. Some days there would be 10 of us. Can I just say though, most of them do now have jobs. They say that you become what you believe about yourself. So, I will be showing you how you can break the cycles. Dream big, because nothing is impossible. I'm going to tell you a story now about one of my favourite people. I find Elon Musk the most fascinating guy ever. And this story will tell you why you should believe the impossible. Why you should believe in yourself and never give up. Elon Musk had a dream. He wanted to build a rocket. He got funding and enough money to build 3. Because he thought, once I've built 3, surely 3 will be enough. That's it, we've got money for 3. So they started building them. And on the 3rd attempt, unfortunately, it didn't work. But Elon didn't want to give up. So he did everything within his power to get the money to build the fourth rocket. But that was it, his last shot. If it didn't work this time, it was over. I think you'll find the rest is history. Because now, Elon Musk is one of the most richest men in the world. Because that fourth rocket, it worked. But what if he'd given up on the third try? Something for you to think about, eh? Coming very soon, I'll be showing you how you can design your life.